So this really is all starting to make a lot more sense to me. And one thing that God is saying, and like one thing that I really feel like I understand now, is that God had to do this. Like, there was no other way for Lightworkers. Like, because I'm coming to like my power now, and I'm like awakening to like who I actually am, and like realizing that everybody came up against me to dim my light on purpose, because if I knew my full light, like, I probably wouldn't have been able to like exist in the world. Genuinely, a lot of us like would not have been able to like exist with the way we were being treated, like knowing like we were like kind of special or had like other gifts or things like that. Like, it would just be too difficult. And so he had to like strategically, purposely like dim our light. He had to have people come up against us on purpose so that we would be dimmed. So that like, because it's like, it just, like, was not time to be like turned on yet. Now we're all activating because it's time to start like healing the world and like using our light. And also a lot of us like learned through those like adverse experiences. So I do see like actually like how it was absolutely completely necessary. And that's why it was so brutal, because we're actually going through this extremely significant time on Earth that doesn't happen that often. And it's just helped me like so much come to this understanding. It is like I battle so much with like the crazy demons. You guys know I mention them all the time, and you can see how I self-doubt all the time. But it's like, how come this makes logical sense then? Like, how does this make logical, coherent sense? Like, that makes absolute sense to me. Like, it's not, it goes beyond like finding a meaning and purpose in your pain, because there actually was one. It's not just like we're finding like a fake meaning or purpose in our pain. You know, it's like, no, like there actually strategically was, and like there's all this evidence and proof of like how other people are also going through very similar experiences. It has helped me so much heal my mind and my soul and my body, and feel like safe again, because it's like, okay, well, if we're way closer to the end than we ever have been, guys. Also, that's another good part of this, is like, I'm so inclined to believe this more and more, because it makes sense, and it also just explains everything. But it's crazy because I've struggled so hard with like, I think I'm a nut job. I think I'm losing my mind. And I'm like, that's how like deeply I program myself to be against myself. I dim my light really, 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 really hard, because I had a really, really, really bright one. And that's what a lot of us new earth leaders, like, the more adversity you went through as a light worker, the more, that's the pipe thing that I'm talking about, guys. Okay, side note here. I made a video about how my pipes like started making noises and stuff. It's not just like confirmation burps that I get, but I get this like pipe noise. So anyway, you can hear it in some of my videos. That's been happening a lot. I'm glad I caught that on video. So yeah, the more adversity you've been through and the more like awakened you are right now, like the more visible you're gonna be. And how like the more like so there are like, it's interesting because it's not like actually like, because I don't think I've had the most trauma on planet Earth. I think I've had a severe case of invisible trauma. That's what like is different about mine than I feel like other people's. Is like, people could not detect mine because it was very subtle, and it was very, and I know a lot of people also deal with this, so I'm not saying that, but I'm saying like, I don't know, I just feel like it, because I grew up like upper middle class and like, you know, certain types of things, like it was just, people like perceived me in such a way that like that was hard for me to understand. And now obviously I understand everything. So like, that's again the other thing, like I was looking up psychosis because, you guys, I'm so scared of it. I don't know, I must be again past life remnants or something. Also, God's an asshole, and during nursing school he made me go through a fucking rotation at this mental health facility that's like a place for people who like plead insanity instead of going to jail. And honestly, being there scarred me because, you know, there was a lot of people there that you would speak to that like you would never in 10 million years believe they committed the crimes that they committed, you know? So it's just like, you know, and like, actually, unfortunately, there were, you know, patients there who talked to God, but it was like obviously discoherent. That's the difference. But still, I'm like, oh my God, I feel like I'm on the spectrum of psychosis in a sense. Like, really, that's genuinely how I feel. Like, I'm on the spectrum of delusion. Like, it's not just autism that has a spectrum. It is also, like, psychosis and schizophrenia and stuff. Like, channeling has a spectrum. So, it's very fascinating. But your, like, level of trauma doesn't correlate to, like, also, like, where you rank as a new earth leader. It's like how you've been able to transmute your trauma and how much you've had also. It's like both of those things. There's a bunch of light workers who've had a lot of trauma who've not been able to transmute some of it. There's a lot of people bypassing. There's a lot of people not actually doing the healing work too. But also it's just like not their soul's time. It's not anything against them or anything wrong with them. It's just not their soul's time yet. So, but you can like kind of start to see, I'm starting to see patterns and seeing like new earth leaders and things like that. And there's a ton, and it's a lot of women. It is. It's a lot of women I'm seeing. And a good handful of men, but mostly women. So this will be interesting. We'll see how this goes. I did see a post by another creator who like tried to shit on Bashar and tell people that Bashar and the Greys are going to lose people's energy at the end of whatever the hell his like little reign or whatever the hell, you know, his, I don't know. It's like at the end of what exactly too. But when I see stuff like that, I immediately do not follow those creators. I do not give any attention to those creators. I do not engage with those types of creators because that's not what we're here for. That's not what this community is about. We've got to stop fighting between each other, but especially light workers between each other, and then especially Democrats, you know, between each other, and then Democrats you know, we have to stop fighting. We have to stop this shit, this superiority shit. Like you're like. And that's how I know a man's insecure, is like when they have to put another man down or put women down. Because if you're actually a secure person in your channeling abilities, in your gifts, in your spirituality, you do not feel the need to go around saying and correcting other people's channels. You just trust that your channels will be the ones that are the truth at the end of it. Just like that guy said, you know? It's not true. That's very false. Bashar is on Christ consciousness timeline. And that's the crazy thing about this light worker too, is that he's on Christ consciousness too, but it's just like this petty ego bullshit that people still have to work through. So when I see that, I back the fuck up. I'm like, nope, I'm good on that shit, you know? But I trust that person's soul's doing, you know, the timing and the things that it needs to do. But also for me, I'm gonna remove myself from people like that. So even with it, you don't have to like everybody. I have love and understanding for everybody, but I would tell you right now, I don't like everybody. I don't get along with everybody's personality. I do not like everybody. I don't want to be around every person on earth. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's very specific types of people I like to be around. There's people with certain types of personalities. I have to have somebody who kind of matches my personality, you know, can be sarcastic, can swear, is comfortable with blunt truths. Like, that's actually 3 things that really immediately will be, like, breakers for people, you know what I'm saying? Like, for me, it's like, are you judging people? Are you putting yourself above people, like, people's characters, you know, rather than, you know, other things? But that's why it's really important to learn how to, like, detach from your reality, because, you're just gonna, like, run into, like, a lot of people that you can't just, like, always, like, you're not always going to mesh with, and that's totally okay. It's just finding your people within whatever community it is and respecting everybody within that community too. Like, that's what we need to do. Not everybody's cup of tea, but also we need to stop, like, shitting on other creators and just, like, allowing everybody to be in their lanes and trusting, like, God. And, like, that's also a trust wound if you're, like, coming on here, like, saying, like, spreading lies. There's no evidence or proof of that. And everything he said, and, like, everything he says is, like, very, like, Christ consciousness coded. Yes, he can be very blunt and cold, but that's just because he's from the 12th dimension. Emotions there are literally useless. They're not efficient. That's, like, the dimension he comes from. So, anyway, that's what I'll say about that.